I am making a pirate roguelike with intense naval battles and deep ship customization. One of the things I want to focus on with this game is to allow the player to come up with these crazy fun builds and creative synergies that even I, as the developer, might not realize actually exist in the game. Early on I decided that I will facilitate this by having an inventory system similar to some recent indie hits like Backpack Hero, Backpack Battles, and also Dredge. This type of an inventory is often called a Tetris inventory. When I started, I wanted to see if I could get by easy and find a ready-made Tetris inventory system, but while there are some like ready-made assets for that, I felt like they didn't have the features I needed, so I decided that hey, I will start from the clean slate and make my own. So a little bit of clickety-clack later, I have my first ever build of the inventory system. It's not really super pretty to look at, but I mean, it serves as the basis for everything that is to come later. And yeah, I can see that by dragging I can move the pieces, and if I press R I can rotate them. And let's see, yeah, I cannot place them on top of each other, but I can also move the items from one inventory to another. So yeah, a pretty nice start, but by no means am I finished with the system at this point. Let's fast forward some clickety-clack again, and now we have my second ever build of the inventory system. As you can see, the visuals still aren't much improved from the last one, but there are many other features that are improved. So now there's some color coding to see like what will happen at any given location when placing blocks. So red one is blocked and then the orange one is swapping. So now we can actually swap some items, which is a pretty much mandatory quality of life feature in a inventory system like this. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, this is a pretty nice feature in my use case, because I will simulate ship inventories, so the ship shape is not like an exact rectangle. So now I can also like take away some blocks from the edges, and the logic will work great with that also. One additional feature I already kind of like added, or at least added the basics for, are this kind of like special inventory slots, which are these like blue colored grids currently, or the cells. So yeah, I will have some items that will have like very specific like location based effects, like maybe they will boost the neighbors somehow. So yeah, now there is like initial logic for that also, so the blue tile will do something fancy. Now with the basics of the inventory system put together pretty nicely, not comprehensively and still a bit ugly, but yeah, I figured this was a good point now to actually tie the inventory system together with the ships I have in the game. So again, a bit of click, and now we have the third build of the inventory system. As you can see, there is now a clear connection between the actual ship and the inventory system. So let's see, let's place some cannons. Let's put them here nice side by side, and then I actually need to still press the sync button, and now the cannons appear there, and I actually have another camera angle also there. So yeah, you can see they will be placed on the correct spots based on the inventory and the grid you can see here. There's not really much else to show about this one. This was a pretty quick addition actually. Maybe I can show my crappy hastily made grid system there and moving with the ship. So yeah, it's definitely not supposed to be shown in the actual game like this, but yeah, that is just for a debug use. Okay, so now the inventory system was tied to the gameplay, but I wasn't quite done with the clickety-clack, so let's see the fourth build of the inventory system. Alright, so the fourth build now is even more connected to the gameplay. The ship looks a bit wonky, don't mind that, but yeah, now I have an inventory button and I can actually, let's place some cannons. Maybe let's put them to one side only now, for now, and okay, so the camera button is a bit useless, but okay, let's see. Okay, here are my item buttons. So yeah, I was able to place some cannons and now I'm able to shoot them, so very basic functionality, but it works. One of the hardest parts of actually making the connection from the inventory system to actually placing the 3D items on top of the ship deck was dealing with all the potential rotations and offsets with the items and the ship. In order to place the item on the correct spot and correct rotation on the ship deck, I need to account for the item placement in the inventory and its rotation. Then I need to translate that to the position on the placement grid on the ship deck and what is the offset of that compared to the ship model. And then after those I also need to account for the position and mainly the 3D rotation of the ship itself, so that everything will be rotated properly no matter what the actual state of the ship currently is. And I mean, in the end everything works perfectly and it's kind of like an invisible thing. You don't even realize that could be an issue, but I had left notes for myself that it was a pain in the ass to get everything working properly, so yeah, I'm just happy that it is done. Alright, so that was the speedrun of the inventory system I have in the game. It's not fully finished, there are lots of improvements and adjustments I will need to make, especially on the visual side, but at this point I felt like it was good enough that I could move on to next stuff. And speaking of other stuff, in the next devlog I will focus on the naval combat in the game. But that's for the next devlog. As for this one, I would love to hear in the comments what you think about the inventory stuff I added and whatever else you might have in your mind. I always love reading the comments and responding to them. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this devlog, so I thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.